This is a presentation of RVT Entertainment.
This isn't about the dead, it's about the living. It's about my mother. It's about my sister. It's about my wife. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to un-goddamn deniable.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true.
Because I'm better than you, and you know it.
In the back, there are men and women. Seasoned professionals, dues paid in full, gunning to be the best.
I'll always light the way, and all you have to do is let me in.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
Hey, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wrestle-Cast, presented by RVT Entertainment on the Broken Infinite. Fuck! I was done! It was out of my system and it brought it... See, that's what happens when you have a week where it's like you're in the groove at work and you're feeling good. Your brain decides, I'm gonna fuck you up. But welcome to the Wrestle-Cast, presented by Podomatic.com. That's presented by RVT Entertainment on Podomatic.com, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else we find this fine item recording and over RVT Entertainment. RVT Entertainment's official Twitch.tv channel. My brain farted twice in like 2 minutes. This bodes well. My name's Matty J. That is TWK.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Wrestle-Cast. Over there is the one and only scrupulous finger himself, Matty J.
Still, that's it, you folks. He's trolling, but he's got a better intro this week, Jesus. And joining us, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our good buddy Shintigercurl.
Oh shit, it's dim sum time.
Goddamn right, it's dim sum time.
Hey yo, Miro coming. Yo, Miro coming. Miro coming!
Miro?
Oh shit, Miro's the new Debo.
I was going for Omar reference, but yeah, Debo works.
I see. How you boys doing?
I see, said my man to his blind wife over the telephone.
I feel as good as Doc Gallows catching some quizzes.
Don't fuck that buck, though.
Of course not. Never fuck that buck.
Never fuck that buck, of course. I can only assume we have a heavy show on the news, but otherwise, this is just going to be a straight up, let's talk about what happened on Wednesday and whatever else happened this week, of course, kind of show. We'll talk that, of course, your winners and losers, and in our third segment, we might have some time. Actually, we should have enough time for a Q&A, so we're not going to do it in Seg 2. Actually, we're just going to do it after the funny commercials that I like to play at during the middle of the podcast, because it allows us to breathe for a couple of seconds. But that's another story for another day, of course. That being said, of course, Blood and Guts, and the good, the bad, and the ugly of Blood and Guts, and I have words. I'm pretty sure the two of you over there, yeah, words, definitely.
The words.
That being said, we begin, ladies and gentlemen, with a couple of the week. I was gonna. I'll start with tweet. I was gonna go with the ending of Blood and Guts, of course, but I talked it over to the boys after Riff now, and I said Blood and Guts or Miro, and the gentleman agreed with me. This week's clip of the week, if I can talk, god damn it, the best man Miro, cashing in on being the problem. Take a listen.
I told the world that nobody's going to distract my destiny. I warned the locker room, you got a title, you got a problem. Well, now the problem is here to collect. This is a signed contract that states 7 days from now, I have date with my destiny. Because next week live on AEW Dynamite, Darby Allin, I'm coming for you and the TNT title. And I don't care. You can throw yourself as many stairs as you want, but there's no avoiding this. Read what it says. Works and rights.
Right, works and rights. It also says if he cannot be able to perform, we saw him get attacked.
No forfeit. No forfeit. I don't need no forfeit. I'm not a man that needs hands out. Darby Allin, I need you to show up next week. It's simple as that. Whether you're healthy or not, it won't make a difference to me because honestly, it won't make a difference to you either. And in 7 days from now, the world will find out what happens when the man who doesn't mind dying meets the man who doesn't mind killing him.
Who can it be knocking at Allen's door? It's Miro. He's gonna fuck you up. I had to. It literally, those words popped in my head when I was putting the clip together. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, next week is gonna be stacked.
Like a fine, sexy woman. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
That card, good lord, that card. We will, of course, who will win? Thank you, T-Dub, the king of the polls here at RVT. It's Miro Day or Emo Face Paint Daddy's boy. Yeah, I'm voting Miro. I don't care. My show, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. But yeah,
Miro's winning 5-0. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a lot of people going, this kid is going to die.
Had a great run, but now it's time for the best man to hold the title.
I mean, Jesus Christ, no one has any confidence.
To be honest, we only have 7 viewers. You probably posted a little. You know what? Let's see what happens if we post it again. Say, I don't know, half an hour in, we got more people coming in, maybe.
Possibly. Suppose it's time to get to the news.
Let's do it. I'm pretty sure there's a ton of it. So let's take your time, T-Dub. We got an empty evening. Go right ahead.
All right, first up, kicking things off with the fact that AEW's viewership averaged 1.1 million and was number 1 on cable this week for adults 18 to 49 during their time slot.
They were number 1 on cable to be to add to it, and that's a big fucking deal.
I'm sure upon hearing the news, Tony Khan was doing cartwheels in the back.
He looks like a guy who does cartwheels.
Don't mind us, folks. We got minds on cartwheels after Taylor Wilde and Susan did cartwheels on Impact last night.
That's just my general reaction whenever anything goes well for executives. They just do cartwheels. That's just what they do.
Or, you know, they buy up a club to fuck over Cameron Grimes.
That as well.
That as well, you know. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man, don't you know? We'll get to him in a minute, of course, I'm sure.
Of course, there's some presentation news about this week's AEW that made it quite unique in that the first hour was pre-taped.
And people were pissed. Oh, my God. Well, I don't know what was more controversial. The ending of Blood and Guts or the fact that Blood and Guts was literally a one-match wrestling show? Now,
what's interesting is that they were very upfront about this for about a good 2 weeks ahead of time. And before the show started, Tony Khan even came out and said, the first hour is going to be pre-taped, it's going to be on the screen, and we're going to be using you guys for the crowd and all the crowd noise, which they did. And he said, you have 45 minutes from now to get refunds. So if you want refunds, go ahead. And apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, only 5 people got refunds.
And the rest of them won their refunds after Blood and Guts. You fucking idiots. Now, for the bigger reason why they did it like this with the 2 rings, but pre-taped was, logistically speaking, the 2 cage setup that you inevitably saw in the second half of a Dynamite took so long that logistically it would be too long to set up. It would be impossible to set it up relatively close to match time. It would be too difficult to do so.
Just put this in perspective. It took CZW over an hour to construct the Cage of Death several years ago, and they're used to putting this stuff together. So
and people go, well, they have WWE money. What is it? First off, logistically, I'm pretty sure the structure that holds the lighting trusses and everything else is all in-house anyways. They just add a few things to make it look pro wrestling. That's not a arena roof where you could hang like 2 tons of stuff like WWE would do with Hell in the Cellar, the new Elimination Chamber. This is kind of tough to do.
Yeah, I figured that was the problem. That was the issue, yeah.
Yeah, this is an outdoor venue with a tarp, essentially. A good-looking tarp, but you own the place. The cons pretty much own the place. They know what the fuck it looks like. They probably best idea not to hang a 2 to 3 ton cage and fuck up the structural integrity of the one place that they could hold wrestling shows safely.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, the only other place they could hold wrestling shows is the Nightmare Factory. That's it.
And you ain't handing a 2 ton double cage on top of that shit either.
That and the Nightmare Factory is really tiny for a wrestling venue.
It is. It is.
It's about the size of the. You guys have seen New Japan Strong, right?
Oh yeah, like for those wondering, yeah, the first few shows of the pandemic era of AEW were filmed at the Nightmare. Yeah, they were filmed at Nightmare Family. The first 2 shows they were at Daly's place, and then when everything shut the fuck down, they moved it all the way to the Nightmare Factory, literally in Georgia.
Yeah, and it is quite a tiny venue, so I don't think you're doing any steel cage matches there.
So, look, this is a case of they had to present it, and Marks being Marks, and saying, well, I deserve free money and free wrestling shows. Right.
Some people, man.
Some people. Some fucking people.
I can understand, like, if you didn't do the research ahead of time, but you were given enough time once the show started to get your refund.
Hell, I heard him say 1-match show on TV, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that shit.
Yeah, they seem to be very upfront about that at the very least. So the show started with Mox and Kingston versus Nakazawa and Omega. Not too long, but then again, you know, they didn't. I think it made sense to not give Nakazawa too much offense.
No, Nakazawa's a jobber. He is. He's a goon. He's a hired goon.
They changed his name to MT Nakazawa.
Yeah, which basically makes him a nerd.
I don't know if nerd's the right word for it, though.
The guy comes out with a headset on and a laptop.
I mean, besides that.
And he's a wimp.
No.
But at least he takes people to the dungeon.
It's been a while since we've seen that, so bring back the dungeon. I want to see inside the dungeon. How does he torture people?
I'm trying to figure out the right word or nickname for MT. That's
Master Torturer Nakazawa.
No. That's not it.
Mr. Titty Nakazawa.
I was about to say that. Jesus Christ,
that's a good one. No. I got the perfect comparison for Nakazawa. Bone Soldier.
No, even better. Doki.
Bingo.
Because Bone Soldier is a former junior heavyweight champion.
Although, no, we can't do that.
No. Yoshihashi.
People had expectations of Doki, which he hasn't lived up to. No one has expectations of Yoshihashi, so I have no expectations of MT Nakazawa. So yeah,
Bingo.
he is
Bingo.
Yoshihashi.
Bingo, bingo, sugar in the goddamn gas tank, baby. Boom.
After Boxing Kingston got the win, they got their shit pushed in by basically all of the elites.
Pretty basically. We got an update on Miro versus Darby Allin next week. 90%, it's 9-1 right now.
Oof. Oof, I say!
There's one person who believes in Darby Allin.
All you have to do for Darby Allin to win is just believe.
You can't believe now. He's been removed. He's been released. He's done.
He can make his return.
Bo Rotunda is done.
You don't know that. He could return in like 5 to 10 years. You don't know that. You don't know the future.
No, I don't, but I'm pretty sure he knows he's done.
Well, if there's one person who we knew was done entering this match, it was QT, as he lost to Cody via submission in a relatively good match.
QT and Cody Rhodes had a good one.
I'll go so far as to say this was QT's best singles match.
In AEW, yeah, I would yeah.
Also, it took me a while to figure out the style that QT has. His style is cheap.
I can see that.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying for a heel like him, it's cheap. He goes for the cheap hits. Like, he doesn't do anything explosive or spectacular. He just does cheap shit that gets him the win. And
he does enough to get heat.
Yeah. And of course he has Anthony Ogogo out there turning dudes guts into soft serve ice cream.
No, fuck that. Turning people's inner organs into liquid shit.
Which is basically what happened to Cody after Ogogo entered the ring after the match.
He literally walks in, punch, bitch.
He punched him so hard, he turned back into Cody Rhodes, the rookie. When he just hardcore Holly. That's how hard Anthony Ogogo hits. He hits you so hard, you turn back into a previous gimmick.
I miss dashing Cody Rhodes.
You thought he would at least go back to Stardust.
No, that's a fate worse than death.
Hell, if he really wanted to fuck him up, he would punch him so hard, he'd turn into Ted DiBiase Jr.
But then he'd get arrested for embezzlement.
Exactly, that's how hard Anthony Ogogo punches.
We also had a segment where Sky and Ethan Page were cutting a promo on Sting and Darby Allin, and then Darby came the fuck out of nowhere, tried to take them out, but instead they got the upper hand and threw him the fuck down concrete steps, which looked painful as hell.
No, I got nothing else to add to that, actually.
Yeah, he was asking for his turtles afterwards.
But like, well, why take the concrete bump? That looked so painful. Ow.
Hi, I'm Darby Allin. Welcome to Jackass.
Yeah, basically, like
that's pretty much what it is.
I know Jackass seems to be one of his biggest inspirations, but just right before a title match, really, right before a title match. I mean,
I'm pretty sure this is one of those cases he took. They probably had a couple practice runs to make sure he could actually be safe, and it was safe enough.
Oh, ow. Just ow.
I mean, it's Darby Allin. He's fallen off he's taken skateboard bumps harder than what he's done.
We also had.
It's also part of the theme song. It's in his lyrics.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's in his lyrics.
I fell.
My name is Darby Allin. I fall off shit. I like turtles. Darby Allin. Turtles. Totally accurate tricks. You can look them up on YouTube.
I like turtles.
All right, moving on.
Yes, please.
We had a good promo from Moxley, who didn't like being called a punk by his upcoming opponent, Yuji Nagata. So he decided to take some frustration on him and saying that he is now going to end the career of Yuji Nagata for saying those words towards him.
They're trying to build this up like this is going to be a strong style fight when we already know this is going to be a strong style fight. It's Yuji Nagata. How could it not be a knockdown drag out? I think they're just trying to get the people who might not potentially care, and that's fair enough. But I'm like, did you really need that?
Yes.
Like, seriously?
Yes. They need all the heat.
All the heat.
Hey, all I'm going to say is this damn well better be the goddamn main event.
It could be, or one match that could also be the main event is the result of SCU defeating the Varsity Blondes, Jurassic Express, and the Acclaim to win the number one contendership for next week's tag team match. That's right, the match is happening next week, not at Double or Nothing, like I suspected.
That should be a Double or Nothing, shouldn't it?
It should, especially because this is going to be the final match featuring SCU.
You would think, put that shit on pay-per-view.
However, I do understand it from a degree because I listened to the AEW Unrestricted podcast interview with Christopher Daniels, where he said that he's aware that people aren't in the building for Christopher Daniels, that he is just another guy at this point, and he's perfectly fine with that. So wherever he ends up ending his career, he seems to be happy with it. And
he's had such a good career that at that point, if he ends, he should be able to end it in the biggest match possible. And I get it. I'm just like for a guy who's had such a prolific career, you would think they would build up to something bigger than just random match on TV.
Yeah, just one thing that's interesting is just how no ego he has. He has literally zero ego because he says he's there to put over everyone. He's there to make everyone else look good. He says that's his current job at the moment. That, and of course, being the head of talent relations. That's right, he is AEW's Johnny Ace.
I was going to say more Jim Ross, but, you know.
But after this match, they need to go in the Hall of Fame.
They need a Hall of Fame.
The Ego Hall of Fame?
Yes, the Ego Hall of Fame. The only Hall of Fame that matters.
Unfortunately, in that same interview, Christopher Daniels noted that the Dumb and Dumber suits are retired.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
He also talked about Crayman and how he's not too keen on bringing it back to a modern audience because he's worried about Japanese audiences not liking it.
I can understand that.
Yeah, because he said that the accent that he used for Crayman was based on Jushin Liger and how he would talk to him, but he's worried that if he were to use that in modern days, that Japanese fans would get really turned off by it.
Ah, so he's afraid the nostalgia act might rub the casuals the wrong way.
Yeah.
That, you know what? All things considered, that makes sense.
And he says that he's working on some ideas that, in a way that he might be able to bring him back in the future, but nothing's concrete at the moment. So the door's just, there's a crack open for him to bring it. Just
there's a couple of, the one thing I would think of, he doesn't even, music could hit, and you don't even need to talk, just him popping up would work, but hey, you know what? He's the veteran, he's the genius. I think we'll let him work it out.
He's also the biggest comic nerd I've ever heard in wrestling. Because to this day, he still collects comics for the sake of collecting comics.
Nice.
Like, he'll literally just go out on eBay just trying to find whatever's the rarest comic. And he is also a massive Marvel fan, not so much DC.
Understandable.
Makes sense.
Which is why he wore the Hawkeye knee pad when he was facing Stephen Amell.
Oh, that, oh. Oh, why? Why did it take so goddamn long for me to get that now? Fuck.
And he didn't tell Stephen Amell until they were already backstage and they had their gear on.
Nice.
Yeah, and Stephen Amell gave him a pretty good reaction, like, you motherfucker.
Why not?
That's a really nice take. So next week we're also getting a number one contendership match for the AEW World Title. This could also be the main event. Man, there's so many matches that actually could be main events.
Orange Cassidy versus Pac, and the winner faces Omega Double or Nothing. All things seem to point to Cassidy versus Omega, but we have a match. That's why they have a match.
Last week I said, make Orange Cassidy number one contender, you cowards. And now they're actually going to do it. They're going to do it.
They've booked the match to do it. They still need to book the winner. We don't know that yet.
Oh, come on. It's basically
all things to be pointing versus Omega, with Omega versus Cassidy at Double or Nothing, which that's a money match. So
Orange Cassidy is going to main event a pay-per-view. Fuck you, haters.
No. T-Dub, say what you really mean.
Fuck you, haters. Fuck all y'all. All you motherfuckers who mocked Orange Cassidy, said he'll never be anything, said that he'll never make it to the main event, said his gimmick was meant for curtain jerking. Well, who the fuck is curtain jerking now, assholes?
T-Dub, who do you really mean when you say haters?
All of them. Whether it's Jim Cornette or the people on Twitter or the people on YouTube.
T-Dub. Fuck you, Jim Cornette makes more sense than just the haters.
I know, but there's more than just Jim Cornette. There's this cult that he leads that fucking listens, that just treats every word he says as gospel, that never questions anything, that just like, oh yes, Cornette, everything you say is true. Nothing you say is false. Your words have absolutely full meaning. Like, fuck
people,
that shit.
I'm trying to make a setup to a punchline, and he just keeps spreading it.
Phrasing.
Let's move on.
I realized something, though.
Yeah.
No, I just realized something about this match. If Hangman hadn't lost his match to Brian Cage the previous week, this could have been Orange Cassidy versus Adam Hangman Page.
Oh.
And I don't think they were ready for a face versus face, not between those two.
That
could explain Brian Cage winning right there.
And that right there goes to how thought out AEW's booking is. They know that, okay, we have a ranking system. We need to get certain people to certain wins and losses, so that way we can set up this number one contenders match, so that way we can set up the number one contender for the pay-per-view.
And it's so deep because it's splintering a freaking feuds all over the place, because Brian Cage has motivation to say, hey, I'm the only guy to beat up Adam Page here.
It's only one Team Taz that's won a match in the past month.
Not to mention, this makes Hangman pretty much safe in his potential shot against Kenny, because if he fought Orange Cassidy and he lost, that would severely hinder him as far as in line for a title shot against Kenny.
Yeah, and they clearly want to save Adam Page for either early or late fall, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so he can take the loss, and this helps out Cage and Team Taz.
It does. It totally does, folks.
It's layers on layers, so it all makes sense.
And speaking of layers, our main event, Blood and Guts, had certainly amount of layers to it.
Oh.
That is layers of blood all over the place.
All right. I've never seen a match that both delivered and in some cases over-delivered and disappointed at the same time. I don't think if we've ever had a match like that, because the match itself, you can nitpick. I'm not going to say it's nitpicking. This was a pay-per-view match they stuck on TV, and obviously they had to stretch in some court cases. You could see Jericho speaking to the ref. You could excuse, he's working the ref, so he's doing this. He's saying, I'm not doing anything. And the referees, you could say, they're pleading, stop the match. This just make him tap, whatever. But you could tell by the cues. This match could have lost 5 minutes and no one would have complained. Maybe one more interview segment before the actual match,
Possibly. The only thing I'll say is that one of the complaints I'm hearing about this match is the addition of commercials, which was an unfortunate inevitability due to it being network television.
So, folks, this is literally a case of they all commercials went to picture in picture. So, if you ask me, tough shit. That's they put a cage match on TV. They give you an extra long one too.
Oh yeah, they did not skimp out on the time for this match.
This was a free pay-per-view matchup. All you have to do is watch through a lower, like a top third for like 5 minutes tops.
I pretty much love everything about this match, especially from the aesthetic of their outfits. The choice of their outfit tells you enough, because the Pinnacle came out. They came out wearing wrestling gear,
and they went wearing all white, whereas the Inner Circle wore all black prison suits.
Yeah.
Pinnacle were there to wrestle. The Inner Circle were there to fight.
They were.
And I gotta say, I like Blood and Guts more than pretty much every War Games match that NXT has ever put on.
Even the first one?
Even the first one.
Jeez, that was a good one too.
That's a strong statement, though.
I'm not saying they sucked. That's not what I'm saying. But this legitimately felt like War Games, because even with the first War Games, even with all these other War Games, you only had one real faction to be in those War Games, and that was the Undisputed Era. The others were just sort of like ad hoc teams that were made up a few weeks in advance. This was two well-established teams that had legitimate blood feud between them, and they were going to go to war inside this cage, and they went to war.
And the extra length probably lent to the feeling, oh, this is awesome too. Oh wow, this is war, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, and another thing I liked is it wasn't so spot heavy, you know, like with.
Well, there were some spots. There was a beautiful Spanish fly by Spears and by Guevara on Spears that could have gone all the way up wrong.
I'm not saying that there weren't any spots. I'm just saying it's not too spot heavy, and that's because it felt more grounded, more gritty. Like they weren't there to entertain people; they were there to hurt each other. And it just kept escalating and getting more bloody and more violent and more visceral. It just felt like 10 guys just wanting to tear the ever-loving shit out of each other, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was quite brutal. Damn near everyone who participated in the match got bloody, and little Sammy Guevara got the worst of it looking at his picture on Twitter.
Yeah, he got... Oof.
He got scarred up, poor bastard.
I cannot wait for this week's Sammy's vlog for him to discuss all the minor, all the little intricacies to every little injury he got.
And also like the fact that they actually tore up the ring during this match.
Oh yeah, they did the old school thing of just pulling up the canvas, pull up the pad, and boom, there's just wood.
Yeah.
And then you do DDTs on wood, then you have wood, and then you put a head on wood and freezing.
And then Jericho took apart the turnbuckle and was laying dudes out. And then Santana was somehow possessed by the spirit of Abdullah the Butcher and pulled out a fucking fork.
I knew it.
And then Sammy Guevara got possessed by RVD and did a coast to coast.
Oh yeah,
good old man Terminator.
Yeah, everything about this match hurt. Like,
and at one point, they're all taking turns beating the shit out of MJF.
They literally, they had the right idea dressed as inmates because they ran a train on MJF.
They did. They fucking did. Yup. Noob & Co. in the chat. That the match is graphic as heck. Well, no freaking duh. They called it Blood and Guts for a reason.
Well, they had to, they definitely deliver on that aspect. They promised
Daddy, they did.
And yeah, we got plenty of that. I feel bad for whoever had to clean the canvas. Hope they've got a good cleaning service.
Yeah.
It's a good thing this was the main event because whenever a bloody match is not the main event, I feel so bad for whoever has to clean up that canvas afterwards to get it looking all good for the next match.
Dude, I could only imagine. This was us, oh my God, 20 years ago, where someone bled mid-card and that blotch was there for the rest of the evening.
Ugh.
You wrestled on top of that.
I hope.
Perfect example. 2002 Survivor Series. Rico had a bad bump on his head. Bled over the mat. You saw that spot for the rest of the night.
Yep. But
we didn't know. No one knew.
Another thing I liked is even at the start of the match, because they went old school with it by having both teams on opposite ends of the cage.
Yep, 2 different entrances. One for the Pinnacle, one for the Inner Circle. That's definitely a nice throwback.
Yeah, they didn't do that for old school war. They did that for old school war games, but I never really liked the whole shark cage thing they did in NXT for their war games. It just seemed, I don't know, just a bit too over the top, but I accepted it because that's all we had when it came to war games. But this really felt like a blast from the past. I really felt like I was watching.
It definitely adds a bit more to that team aspect because it always looked like the different teammates were discussing who would go in next in between each interval and different strategies.
Yeah.
And it also added anticipation because at one point, Jericho was the only one left to go in for his team, and MJF was just taunting him, saying, "When you get in here, you're dead." So the fact that he got up right to his face and was able to say that, just lots of nice little moments.
Little intricate spots here and there. Let's talk about that big bump at the end of the evening.
No, before we get to that,
I think everyone wants us to talk about that.
Before we get to that, we'll talk about the ending where MJF and Chris Jericho, they eventually get up to the top. Chris Jericho locks in what they actually called the walls of Jericho for once, so maybe they actually got the trademark on that move. I don't know. And MJF did what I can only assume is the only time this has been countered this way, with a low blow.
That's one way to get out of the walls of Jericho.
Hell yeah.
Locks in the Salt of the Earth armbar, couldn't get him to tap out, says fuck this, pulls out the diamond ring, punch to the face, drags him over to the edge, looks over to all the members of the Inner Circle, gets their attention, and tells them if they don't surrender right now, he's going to throw them off the top of the cage, which of course gets them to freak out because whereas the Pinnacle are all business partners, all the members of the Inner Circle, they're like family. So they're like, oh no, he's going to kill Daddy. Don't kill Daddy. And so
Sammy Guevara does the honorable thing, says, okay, we surrender.
And MJF, being the bastard that he is, says, that's good. Well, remember when I said I wasn't going to toss him off?
I lied.
And then, whee!
Crash.
Free falling. And it turns out he did not land on a crash pad, but a bunch of cardboard boxes.
Cardboard boxes with a line with a gray thing. With us, I think that looked like a bit of a crash pad as well. Long story short, people were going, "We land on the crash pad, said concrete, boo, boo." No, fuckers. Do you fuckers even remember Matt Hardy's bump last goddamn year? Do ya?
Do ya?
Fucking do ya? Because if you are the same fuckers who went, well, Matt Hardy shouldn't have taken a goddamn bump. Well, you should have stopped the damn match. And then Jericho's bump. Well, it's too goddamn safe. Hypocrites. All of y'all saying the same goddamn thing. Fucking hypocrites. A lot of you.
They definitely could have shot it better, but I don't think that the bump was really as, I don't think that people should have made as much of a big deal out of as they ended up doing.
They shouldn't.
You don't see people going online bitching about when those 2 times that Shane O'Mac jumped off the Titantron.
Fuck that. The Hell in a Cell was taller. And he did that bump twice.
And those times, he had a fucking crash pad. I saw a crash pad. I did not care. He still jumped off a fucking cell through a table. That shit hurts. And
that bump still hurts. That Jericho bump still hurts. What if he launches a couple inches to the left, to the right, just over or just under? That's the end of Chris Jericho's fucking career.
Yeah,
Why?
it's kind of amazing just
He's
how
in his
accurate-
fucking 50s.
Yeah, he's in his 50s, and it is really amazing just how accurate he was able to be. That's definitely one thing that amazed me. Like
One misjudgment. We're not talking about the Butters going. Your people. We're talking about this in a different goddamn light. So this is not directed directly to our audience. This is simply to those out there who think, oh, Jericho should have taken a harder bump. Fuck you.
And he took that bump on his back. He had no way of knowing whether he was on target or not until he actually hit. This ain't like Mick Foley where Taker just gave him a running start and he kind of aimed him on the announce table. No, he went back first.
Of course, TAT Productions could have had a better angle for the initial bump, and then the replay could have said, well, replay you could have had different angles, and you could see, okay, he's fine, folks. This is storyline. But the first bump, yeah, agreed, wrong angle to use. But also, probably the better angle to use too. You know, they could have produced it better, sure. But here's the thing. A lot of people are going to say, oh, he's going to take another bump. It's going to be a Matt Hardy situation again. That was probably someone in the booth going, maybe we should just use the safe angle and make him look, okay, this is storyline, but at the same time, okay, let's not make it look like we're evil bastards. You don't know. You're not in that fucking booth. I've been in a director's booth on a TV show. That shit's live. And you don't know what you're the director. You don't know what the better angle might be. And you go with the better angle to make it look to emphasize the height sometimes, which is probably what they were thinking at the time.
And speaking from my experience working operations, doing this kind of thing, the logistics of this shit must have been a nightmare for those folks, because there was no way you were going to completely hide it, because you just had to take Jericho's health and safety into regard. Because this is not Shane McMahon, this is not Darby Allin, this is not Jeff Hardy or any other crazy bastard who jumps off shit because they can. This is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho does not take these kind of bumps. He is never known to take these kind of bumps. So we should be glad that he was willing to do this for us, for the entertainment, for the storyline. And there was a storyline here. No, most people are just forgetting that. I'm hearing people say, oh, they should have had Sammy do it. Sammy's a younger guy. Sammy would have taken that bump better. Like, no, it had to be Jericho. It had to be Jericho, and it had to be MJF. That's the story.
It had to be, be Jericho and MJF. If you want to swap someone out, maybe Jake Hager would have been heavier to make it to emphasize the oomph. But for the storyline purposes, to advance the story between just MJF and just Y2J, just Chris Jericho, it had to be to them. It had to be just those two.
And plus, can I talk about people talking about, oh, how could they end it like that? Like, considering what we saw in this match from the Inner Circle and how vicious they were and how utterly relentless they were, there was no goddamn way any of them were going to surrender. This is like a Mick Foley versus The Rock in the I Quit match.
This match does not end with the you can make it look, there are ways in this matchup alone I could think, oh, that should have been the finish. There was a few moments where the fork could have been used, that could have been surrender, but at this point, you can look at it as the Inner Circle getting their comeuppance and getting a little too greedy, and then Jericho and MJF going alone with one more measure, and of course MJF, his brain kicking in. And by the way, he's a heel. I believe that's what MJF is, right?
Yeah, he is a bastard heel.
This is his comeuppance, and then getting away with murder.
He used the Inner Circle's bond as a family against them, because they were willing. Each one of them were willing to die for this match, but they weren't willing to see each other die.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think
one more thing. When was the last time we had a War Games like match like this where the heel team won?
It's been a while. I mean, I think maybe the NWO won one back in the day.
Yeah, but not, you'd have to go in the 90s to find that, something like that. Actually, you could only go with the 90s, I think.
I think maybe the Undisputed Era won one as a heel.
Yeah, but there were cool heels. I think that to have a legitimate heel win a match like this. Look, I didn't tweet about it because I'm like, at this point, Twitter's a cesspool at this point. But a thought came to mind as like, whoever pins MJF, whoever eventually gets that win on MJF, a pure, clean win on MJF, will get the biggest pop ever. And that's what they're building up. They're giving people the satisfaction of seeing the little prick get beat up. But they gave him just enough to make you want more and more.
And it's interesting how long they've kept that going, because even the one loss he had against Jon Moxley, he had some wiggle room there because, he used the move he said he wasn't going to use. So technically not a loss. Strike from the record. I'm undefeated.
Heel heat. That's all it is. And MJF is smart. Jesus, he's still so goddamn young, but he's in his brain. He gets it. Hey, you know what, though? Give him comeuppance every once in a while, because, hey, I got to get my ass kicked every once in a while. But, Jesus, let's keep it going, and let's see if we could put over the biggest fucking babyface we can.
Here's my prediction going forward. Hangman Page is going to beat Omega for the world title, and then within less than 3 months, MJF is going to cheat to beat Hangman, and he's going to feel super dejected until a few months later, Hangman becomes the first ever 2-time world champion by finally beating MJF.
I'm gonna say it right here, right now. After what we saw on Wednesday, I'm putting MJ up there with Roman and Kenny as one of the top heels in all of wrestling.
Yeah, you'd be a fool not to.
Like, after that, combined with everything he has done and said over the last 1 or 2.5 years since joining AEW and becoming just this big spotlight character. I think this was the moment he elevated himself to like the heel, that awesome, epic heel level standard that Kenny and Roman Reigns enjoy right now. He's the best heel in wrestling who doesn't have a belt right now.
And unlike either Roman or Kenny, I just don't see MJF ever turning face. Because I could still see Kenny and Roman eventually somewhere down the line turning face, but not MJF ever. I can't see it.
I would argue MJF got even more, but Sammy Guevara, Sean Spears, Wardlow especially, they got over big time.
Yeah, that guy was murdering people left and right.
Mm-hmm. And Sammy Guevara gutted it out, as we've discussed earlier. FTR, we reestablished how big badasses they are, so we didn't need to reestablish. That was just another code of, hey, they're badasses, be careful.
Proud and Powerful really stepped it up in this one.
Absolutely,
they like fucking killers in that match.
I don't think there's a single weak link in that whole thing.
Hell, everybody looked good.
And I think that having Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson there to help plan the match out probably helped. Because, they were a part of the original War Games matches.
I think these were the only two people who could produce that kind of match from a backstage agent point of view.
Yep, they were there back when it was first created. So, and I don't think anyone's been in more War Games matches than the Horsemen, really.
They were the damn thing was created for it to feature all the four horsemen in that cage. That was the original intent.
Yep. Let's see.
All right. We spent way too much time on an episode of Dynamite T-Dub. Let's keep going.
Well, it did feel kind of like a super special episode, so it makes sense. Some bad news. Tommy Dreamer tests positive for COVID, and he's just having the worst time of his life because he says it's the worst sickness he's ever felt, and reading the details of everything, it's bad. It's really bad.
I have, and he's getting some of the worst parts, and not the absolute worst parts, but yeah, I am looking May 10th, May goddamn 10th. They're opening up in this in my home province in my age range. You goddamn right. The soonest spot with the best vaccine. Give me my first fucking ouchie. Give me that pinch. Put that shit in my fucking veins.
Yeah, let me read this quote. It felt like I had a massive concussion and had nonstop throbbing pain in my head for 17 days. Then came the fever. I'm going up to 102, 102.4, and I had that for about 7 days. The chills. At one point, I had 4 winter blankets on me, and I still felt like I was outside naked in the snow. That was about 4 days. Sweats. I'd be freezing for 2 to 3 hours, and then came the sweats and having to change the sheets daily. This lasted 16 to 17 days. Weakness and fatigue were next level. I'm on day 24, and I've had 3 good days. It feels like you overcome, and then it hits you all over again. I tested positive on Thursday, had already exposed my family. Thursday night, I was in so much physical pain that I literally said, I'm going to pee myself because I can't walk to the bathroom. One night, I woke up crying in pain. My elbows and hips felt like they were on fire, and I've been on fire. I was on a raging pain, burning in both elbows and hips. No matter which way I turned, I lost both of my arms. They were just hanging. I couldn't lay in bed. I had to stand for 2 hours against the wall.
That's rough. That's just fucking rough right there.
I just hope he recovers, because that sounds like some of the worst shit imaginable. Like, holy fuck.
And if you still got issues, if you got questions about the vaccine, John Oliver did an amazing special from his show last week tonight, where he talked about concerns and misinformation about the vaccine. So watch that, get educated, and get your vaccine.
I recommend. I watched that episode myself. Great stuff. Get vaccinated, please, because we need to end this fucking virus. We need to end this shit.
And by the way, for the record, the only reason I haven't gotten it yet and T-Dub has is simply because it is something that is regulated by state or province in my case. The only reason I haven't gotten it yet, simply put, it wasn't available in my age range just yet. That's it.
Yeah, the moment you're able to get it, please get it. I've already got my first shot. I'll begin the next one in a few weeks. Shin is already the same way. He's already gotten his first shot, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, first shot. Second shot will be a week from this Tuesday.
Very nice. So we're not just saying this shit out of our asses. We're practicing what we preach. We're getting vaccinated. We're doing our job.
Yeah, this is not a political thing. This is literally a get yourself in a state where you can be healthy, and if you do get it, it's not going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, like my experience was 24 hours after receiving it, I started feeling a pain in my shoulder, and I got a fever for about a day. Next day, perfectly fine. That's it.
I had some weakness in me for the first couple of days. I got some kernels in my shoulder, but they're going away. That's about it.
Compared to what Tommy Dreamer's going through, I will happily take whatever side effects I'm receiving.
Fuck, I'll take a fever and a couple of Tylenol to go into bed, please. Please, yeah, I'll take that.
It's a cakewalk in comparison.
Absolutely.
What I also want to talk about was VSK versus ELP from this week's Impact. That was pretty damn good.
That was a thing of beauty to watch.
I know we don't talk about Impact all the time on here, but I just had to highlight that match because, number one, ELP on Impact, never thought that would happen, with full Bullet Club everything.
It's true.
And also, VSK's getting some spotlight. I see him every now and again on Dark and Dark Elevation. He's someone who frequents that part of AEW, so it's good to see him get some legitimate mainstream, I guess, TV time. I'm not sure what gets more views, their YouTube show or this, but either way, still more exposure.
Still better than nothing.
And his name's getting out there. And once again, ELP does a great job of just being the spaz fucking random ass motherfucker.
The spaz master, if you will.
God damn it.
Anyways, that's a deep cut for you folks who have been around the internet, the review-verse for a long time, folks.
Let's see. WWE really wants SummerSlam to be the kickoff for them returning to tours. So they're looking toward
returning to tours, but returning to full packed arenas like UFC did a couple of weeks ago. I could see that.
By the way, if you guys have not seen last week's Sammy's vlog, where he detailed how he got to UFC, quite an interesting story. Watch it.
It's a worthwhile watch, especially in this day and age. It's one of those fascinating things where you have to watch to be like, whoa, that's a thing.
Let's see, my next note here says, SmackDown throwback set looks like trash.
Well, yeah, it's a bunch of LCD things that make it look like it's an old school thing. It's literally the same goddamn stage with old school flavors.
Except it looks like they didn't even try. Like, where's the actual
all they did to make it look other than just the old school graphics, and that's pretty much what the fuck it is. The SmackDown fix, the SmackDown fist, in augmented reality. Ooh.
Like that, you already failed.
They have the fist in storage. They still have it.
They have
it.
You could have shipped that shit in literally Connecticut to Orlando is not that fucking far. You could have had that fist overnighted, and it's literally an adjustment of like the main Tron screen, couple of feet, couple extra wires. Spit shine on the fist, and you're done. And I think that would have been more effort than what they put up.
It's just
lazy.
That, and they seem to be, from the graphics I'm seeing, going for a 1980s aesthetic. Do they?
And SmackDown was in the 90s. You could have just did the whole thing with the raw, old school retro Titantron thing, and that would have been better effort.
I also saw on Twitter that apparently Charles Robinson was wearing a blue. Was apparently at least back to wearing the blue referee shirt, so that's cool, I guess.
They did. They went raw old school is what they did.
No, and I'd say blue referee shirt. Please tell me it's the black and blue stripes that they used to wear.
From what I've heard, it's the blue shirts with the bow tie.
That makes no sense. They never did that for SmackDown. They used to wear the black and blue stripes back when they first started the draft, just to differentiate, to make it look more SmackDown-y.
How close to the mic are you there, T-Dub? You're coming in soft for some reason.
It's strange.
Not you're still loud and clear, but you're coming in soft for some reason.
Weird. Let's see. Next on my notes here. Andrade has challenged Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Campeonato.
And the internet rejoiced. Because goddamn, it's not going to be his first match, but it's going to be his first high-profile match back on the Indies.
Oh hell yeah! And
it goes from hanging around Titus Catering to wrestling the biggest name in professional wrestling right now.
Or one of, at the very least.
Or one of them, anyway.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who would say, "But excuse me." But no, he's going after one of the big names. Is what? Yeah, that's a huge deal.
And depending on when Triple Mania is, he might win it. We'll see.
I mean, it would have to be a big argument, especially with the belt collector gimmick. But the belts are only effective. It's up to the promoter. If the promoter wants it back in their hands and not being flung around like bullshit. There you go. They want their belt back. Omega has no choice.
And the last bit of news I have here is the best set of news. Coming to MLW during their next season this July.
All right, we need to set this up. We need to set this up because I've been watching regularly, not as regularly as I should, but so they got a whole thing with Selena De La Renta. She used to be like one of the big heel managers. So, she's got a boss called El Jefe. And she's been pissing El Jefe off. So much so that she was, shall we say, removed from her duties. And there's a big picture. And that picture is a dude who looks like Dario Cueto from Lucha Under Goddamn Ground.
Yes.
There's also a video to go with it.
That reveal, yeah, and the Car Junkie, you and I both. That reveal.
Now he has come to MLW to offer everyone a unique opportunity.
Lucha Underground's dead, folks. That's basically the proof right there.
Now it is Azteca Underground.
It's called the group is Azteca Underground. That is the faction, and He will be on. He will unfortunately he'll have to be under a different name, but El Jefe will be the El Jefe. He'll be the boss. That's a thing.
Shame Jeff Cobb is in New Japan. Means we can't bring back Matanza.
I think Matanza is a Lucha Underground original, which that would be a difficulty right off the bat. I think you know what, the fact that they got Mil Muertes isn't in there, that's plenty. I think for MLW that should be plenty.
And on top of that, they at least were able to get a shooting location that at least looked like the temple.
Hey, you know what? Hollywood and TV magic are wonderful things.
Indeed it is. All you do is just take a few things here, a few things there, and what do you know? It's just like the old Lucha Underground. Just need some good old movie magic.
A little bit of movie magic, the same filters and all that stuff. Works like a charm.
Also, Sexy Star, don't come begging for a job.
Fuck no.
Apparently there's a new person who took up that mantle. That's what I've been hearing.
Well, hopefully she can bring some honor and respect back to that name, because the original damn sure didn't.
No.
And I don't know if you guys saw it on the Toonami chat, but there was a picture of Sexy Star in Lucha Underground, and then a picture of her most recent mixed martial arts battle, and ooh, she ain't pretty no more.
I heard that she got her head kicked in, essentially.
She got her shit pushed in. Her face looked like she ran into Mike Tyson several times.
Now she is ugly on the outside as she is on the inside.
She had a wonderful, before all the things with Thunder Rosa and her going on the deep end of the sanity scale. I think that's the best way to put it. Ish. She had a wonderful story. Like, she wanted to bring the beauty and everything else, and she wanted to be a role model, and then, well, she fucked up. She fucked up.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You're fucked up now.
Yup. I'm not going to share the image on the screen because I cannot set it up right now in the middle, and I want you folks to listen to everything. But I am going to share this to the gentlemen in the chat, because they are well deserving of seeing Sexy Star on her worst day, at least in MMA. And boys, that's the same woman. That is the I've watched someone posted the actual fight on YouTube. It's not available anymore, but that's her legitimate face. I can confirm that is Dulce Garcia, aka Sexy Star.
Well, formerly known as at this
formerly known as Sexy Star, but yeah.
And I have posted my reaction to that.
Damn! Yep. Ah.
Anyways, that is all the news I have, unless Shin, Matty, you guys have something you'd like to bring up?
I got something. Yeah, but I'll let Shin go first, as always.
No, I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
And JC is like, this is the last set of news? We're not going to talk about Daniel Bryan? Yeah, Tina, why is not... This has been a big deal in the last couple of days.
Well, he is technically out of a contract, but apparently WWE is trying tooth and nail to get him to re-sign a new deal of some sort. So we'll wait and see what happens there.
At this point, we all know that the contract is expired. Allegedly, it's been corroborated by Fightful Select. So Sean Ross Sapp, it's been confirmed by numerous sources, including Dave Meltzer. The vibe is Daniel Bryan wants to be like a more of a full-time dad and a part-time wrestler. So, but the idea is he is comfortable with WWE. They treat him good. You could have fooled us there, by the way, bud. But he could be. It's a case of he might make more money with less dates with WWE than he would with AEW. This is one of those to be continued situations, but it is a worthwhile. I'm surprised it wasn't on your list, even if just for like a passing remark.
Yeah, but he needs to go to Impact.
I agree. He needs to go to Impact, so that way he can resume his blood feud.
Oh no, it'll play out like this. He goes to Impact. He keeps hearing about this new wrestler named W. Morrissey.
Of course.
He goes to Principal Scott D'Amore. He's like, I really want to wrestle. Seems like nice. Well, here he is, and from a swivel chair, wearing a full-length suit, is W. Morrissey swinging around, stroking a white cat. He's like, hello, Brian.
Oh, God. And Numiko, not 2018 again. No, it's not that bad. This would literally be like W. Morrissey on. Right now, he's in his best shape of his life. If Daniel Bryan has one match with Morrissey, I think it'd be better than the shit show they had when, Morrissey lost his job.
And Daniel would be like, Big Cass, I don't go by that anymore. It's Morrissey now. W. Morrissey. Mr. W. Morrissey. Esquire. The third.
Dr. Mr. W. Morrissey the third, Esquire.
Father. Dr. Morrissey.
D-M-D.
Oh, I got a better one.
Huh?
Father. Dr. Mr. W. Morrissey the third, Esquire, BMMD.
I'm not going to be able to repeat the entire thing, but the Right Honorable Father, Dr. Mr. W. Morrissey, Esquire the third, WBMD. See, I couldn't do it verbatim.
BMMD, bringer of most massive destruction.
Aha. Okay, I gotcha.
And it's only then that Bryan will finally face his biggest challenge yet, the master of the jack-off bomb.
Ooh, fuck.
And then Morrissey will get up and he says, it was all leading to this. You really think that Roman Reigns became a heel overnight? No, I'm the one who did that. It was all part of my master plan to squirt ketchup on your beard, and you never saw it coming.
All right, now it's getting ridiculous.
Hey, Khaki Dory.
Anyway, my one piece of news other than Daniel Bryan, but that's been brought up. Did you guys know New Japan had another 6-star match?
Oh, well, the only thing I heard from New Japan is that some of the wrestlers got COVID.
Yeah, Ospreay. We talked about it last night on Riff Down, but I believe it was Okada, Show. There was a third one.
No, I believe it was Yo.
It was Yo. It was Yo. Who was the third one?
We never said the third one.
Who?
Said the third one.
We never said the third one?
No, it was just Okada and Show.
Still, and of course, they have to postpone a couple of big stadium shows because, well, they're going back into emergency order. So there you go. And otherwise, yeah, Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi for the world title. Apparently, that was a banger.
Not surprising.
Well, it's not surprising. They were supposed to have like 20 minutes, and that would have been more than well enough to get the 5 stars from what people have read. Having read into the situation, I was like, ooh, they lost a couple of matches, so they had to spread around the time. And most of the time went to the world title match. I have watched said title match. While I will not agree with the 6 stars and the overhype, this was overhyped. A tad. But I will say this. They're not wrong on the praise, though. That's a match of the year candidate, boys. This would be something I would, if you could chase it down, if you could get that match, watch it.
Okay, then.
I am serious.
I have some news here.
It is a tad overhyped, but the hype is real.
All right, I got some breaking news here. According to the Twitterverse, it seems that WWE might be building towards Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
Whoa. And move your phone there, T-Dub.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I don't mind. I don't blame you, though. I think you have to look at your phone on that one. But I mean, yeah. I mean, it was Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. So Cesaro won that match during the shit retro SmackDown. So one good thing happened there, and so that's building up to so it's Cesaro versus Reigns at Backlash, not WrestleMania Backlash, just Backlash, fuckers. But if Seth versus Roman, I can only assume Seth turning face.
I'd assume so, because apparently there was a stare down segment between the two on the show.
Yeah.
So little hints there. It has been a long time since we've seen the Shield guys fight it out.
And they were different characters back then. Completely different characters back then.
Very much so.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like, whoa, well, the times have changed.
I just realized something. Wouldn't this be the first that you said Takagi with Ospreay for the world title, right?
Shingo Takagi versus
Ospreay
versus Will Ospreay at I believe Wrestling Dontaku.
So Shingo and Ospreay have fought each other over 3 separate divisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, junior heavyweight,
never openweight, and now world title.
Interesting.
That's a fun fact right there. And 6 stars from Meltzer, by the way, is what I meant to say earlier.
And to JC chat, I'm not saying they're going to turn face now, but like a few months down the road, they still got a lot of time.
Yeah, this is SummerSlam. This is another 3-4 months.
Burn.
They have time.
Slow burn.
They have time. And of course, Seth Rollins with the Vision. Now, obviously, it's still a heel gimmick, but the Vision may be run against the Tribe. And you could easily turn Rollins' face for that.
No, maybe Rollins would be the one to take the title off of Roman. Maybe.
I mean, you could, but I don't know if that would make sense.
No, keep that belt on him.
I would keep the belt until next WrestleMania.
Maybe,
Final boss that shit.
I guess it all depends on the crowd reaction for Seth if he can, if he walks in as a real red hot baby face.
But yeah, it's in right now. Like I said before, Roman is in like Walter territory right now. He is so dominant, has established that title. If you're gonna have him drop the belt, it has to be to somebody who can use it, somebody young,
or to establish Drew as the top babyface, which you could still do that. There are options, is what I think. The best way to put it is there are options when it comes to that world, to what Roman Reigns provides.
Very true, very true.
And that is a big asset. But that's another story for another day, of course. All right, boys. I said we need a Q&A, and you guys killed almost the entire show. So, kudos, boys. Kudos. And I still got to play the thing. So what we're going to do, folks in the chat, send us some cues. You know what? We usually use this thing for Tokarifs, but if you folks are familiar with Tokarifs, if you got some RVT points or RVT bucks in the chat, I have turned the option on to ask a question. So, ask away. Put them in there in the thing. If you get the RVT bucks at the bottom of the chat, click on that. Redeem redeem for your question. It's not expensive, I don't think. Actually, let me see what the thing is. Ask a question is 200. No big deal. So ask that in there. Meanwhile, I'm gonna hit this. We return with some Q's and our answers, of course, our A's, when we come back on the Wrestle-Cast. Don't go away.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Southpaw fans, a limited amount of Southpaw stars will be appearing at KFC to get their hands on the new Woo Crispy, Woo Tangy, Woo Honey Mustard barbecue flavor of Georgia Gold chicken, Woo, for our Eat with the Wrestlers event. come down and tell them that Nature Boy sent you.
This is WMOB Mobile, 12 on your channel dial and 12 in the TV ratings.
All right, back. That was a short break. Aha. Oh, it was out of stock. I turned it. Well, oh, hold on. There we go. Try it again, JC. We're back here on the Wrestle-Cast, RVT Entertainment Production, Podomac.com, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch.tv/RVT Entertainment. Matty J and TWK here with you. Let me turn off the thing here. Working the thing. There we go. And of course, in the chat room is the way to send us a thing. If you want to send it us, if you can't send it to us live, the Wrestle-Cast@gmail.com. We will read them whenever we are able to do so. JC in the chat, a question inspired by Dark Side of the Ring. Do you think Pillman worked Eazy-E, or is he in on it?
Yeah, on the Dark Side of the Ring, the first part I saw.
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff said that he was totally in on everything that Brian Pillman was doing. He said he was totally aware of it.
I think Brian eventually worked them.
Yeah, he said that he knew that Brian was going to sign with WWE and then eventually come back to WCW.
Yeah, I think so too. And Eazy-E's a bit. He wouldn't be that easy to work over, especially not with Brian. He would be in on it.
Honestly, I would see a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, where Eazy knew enough that, okay, he's obviously not going to, he's got a plan. I'm like, you know what? I'm bringing back. He's got more heat. But I get the feeling Brian, a lot of the reveres on that accident he had, which is unfortunate. But to see the entire plan play out would have been amazing.
If it hadn't been for that accident, who knows?
Who knows, man? Who knows?
He probably would have been the Stone Cold Steve Austin equivalent to WCW. Just that wild, mad, crazy guy that just gets the crazy pops and just was that ultimate badass,
Yeah. Who knows on that one? All right, questions in the chat? Send them, folks. Send them. Keep sending them. If you got a question, even a stupid one, we'll answer it.
JC's
not too stupid. Oh. JC, what do you think is WWE's best year in terms of pay-per-view quality?
That's a bit of a tough one. Just in terms of pay-per-view quality, 02 was a pretty good one.
02, I mean, you would think of WrestleMania 18. You would think of Survivor Series 02, which with the Elimination Chamber, that entire pay-per-view was a banger. SummerSlam
02. Yeah, with like Brock versus Rock, Triple H versus Shawn.
The top 5 delivered, and there are a few good hidden gems in the pay-per-view department on the B side for sure. But 2002, 2000, I want to say, I don't know, actually 2002, 1998?
I remember, from what I recall, 98 was a pretty good year in terms of, quality of the pay-per-views.
I'd say probably, for me, 2003, 2004.
Oh, yeah, during
Ruthless. There were a lot of good years and a lot of great pay-per-views from Ruthless Aggression.
Ruthless Aggression is underrated when it comes to the pay-per-view quality for sure. Noob & Co. Will WWE write Asuka off TV come Backlash? I have Charlotte beating her up at the end of the Raw Women's Triple Threat match. That'll give WB 6 months to live for live fans, return fans, and women's division worried about Asuka. Enough for Charlotte and Rhea to feud, and Asuka getting her teeth fixed. I can see her getting her written off. I mean, if she needs it immediately, I think that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, if she needs to get written off, yeah, I could see it. JC posted something in the chat saying the question was inspired by Cultaholic series of ranking pay-per-views by each year. Pachiche spoke highly of 08.
08 was a good year.
Especially for SmackDown.
SmackDown had, I think, they could not be beaten on the pay-per-view side of things for sure.
Because 08 was the Undertaker Edge feud.
Yeah.
And then 09 you had, I think was pretty good because that had CM Punk and Jeff Hardy.
Oh, wait. That would have been Ric Flair's retirement. You throw in Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. That's feud of the year in 2008.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
These guys could not be topped in the match department.
Like I said, anything, almost any year from the Ruthless Aggression era, because they really just, the whole card was just stacked with just top tier talent who were just great in the ring.
All right, keep them coming, folks. We got time. We got another 10 minutes to kill. All right, JC, if you were to create a new stable from scratch in WWE, who would you put in it, and what kind of theme would you go for? The answer would be no, because it would be wrecked in 3 weeks. But if Vince McMahon was not involved, it's a tough one.
I don't really see. There's no one in WWE right now that I really want to see in a faction.
I think the only one would be the Legado del Fantasma in NXT.
They're fine as a 3-man group.
Yeah, but a 4-man faction's a tough. It's a tough thing to it's a tough thing to build. I mean, I would go with the tribe. You got Roman as a top guy. You got the Usos as a tag team. Heyman would be like the J.J. Dillon if you want to go with the 4 Horsemen reference. I would add a 4th man in there, but I don't know who would fit in that dynamic.
Yeah,
Manu.
No, and current roster, dummy.
He can be current roster. Sign him to a new contract.
Go to your room, T-Dub.
By the way, for those wondering, he T-Dub typed the questions for Mr. Curl. Why do Texas wrestlers obsess over Whataburger? Yeah, go to your room. JC, I could see Apollo Crews fitting in the tribe since he's friendly with Heyman. Maybe. That's a choice.
And he's too bit ego driven to be like serving under anyone. He could be an ally, but not a member.
Yeah,
he's already got his own thing going with.
I think. Yeah, he's got his own guards with Commander Aziz.
Yep.
Yeah. Newman Co. Who will be Alexa and Lily's first target in the Raw women's division?
I assume whoever the champion is.
Yeah, whoever the champion is, or a way to warn the champion, take out Asuka. That could be one way to take her out for 6 months right there.
It's going to be Charlotte. We all know it.
I mean, besides Charlotte.
No one besides Charlotte. That's how it.
Let's see. Anybody else? We got 8 people in there. If you can't afford the RVT bucks, you could type it up in the chat. I have the chat right in front of me. JC, what big stunt would you have Braun Strowman do to try to regain some heat?
Destroy the Thunderdome.
At this point, yeah. I think that's the last night of the Thunderdome before you get the fans. Build up to a thing where Braun goes, fuck it, I'm going to flip the entire Thunderdome, Braun.
I'm not sure how they would pull that off, but...
Hey, that's a lot of LED screens, but they could fuck up a couple of ones.
I could see them doing something like that, but other than that, I don't really see much to get Braun back to what he was. He's a shadow of what he once was.
Damaged
That's
goods.
why destroying the Thunderdome is the only thing that can bring back the old Braun, the one that just destroys everything.
And not just the LED screens and the set. Like, fuck up the ring, bend bars, do what you got to do. But, yeah, last night in the Thunderdome ever, have Braun Strowman fuck up the Thunderdome.
Okay, you want to know what big stunt they could have Braun Strowman do to get some heat back? Simple. Bring Ryback back. Have Braun Strowman beat his ass for an entire episode of Raw.
Oh, never.
You could go all cinematic with that shit too. You can absolutely pull that off.
Beat him up in the ring. Beat him outside the ring. Beat him up in the Thunderdome. Beat him at the announcer table. Beat him up in Titus Catering.
Oh, okay, we need to put some context into this. So Ryback, being a dummy, he goes live again. He does his shit. And in the live chat, and someone actually captured this, says, Ryback, I heard on the Dave Meltzer radio show that you broke your neck trying to suck your own dick. Is this true? The caption on Facebook said, the internet, you never should have given you guys the internet. True story. True story.
Just had him beat up Ryback. Just whoop his ass. Just from pillar to post. No stop, no surrender.
And what does Ryback get? A fat paycheck and a kick in the ass at the end of the goddamn night. You got your money, now get the fuck out of here.
Every time he tries to run from him, he always runs into Braun. Like
cartoon that shit.
Like he goes to a Wendy's. Ryback could use the big guy could use a Big Bacon Classic. And the person taking his
welcome to Wendy's. This is Braun. How will take your order? You can totally see it too. Welcome to McDonald's. How can I take your order? No. Better. This is Braun Strowman. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. How can I take your order?
Ryback goes to Disney World. It's like, yeah, the big guy can be safe here with everyone.
It's a small world after all. Braun!
And then to top it all off, Ryback's in his hotel room. That call girl I got here better get here. The big guy needs to take care of his big guy.
Room service. Candy Graham.
So he's the land shark now.
Braun.
No, we gotta do this right. We gotta do this right. Matty, you do Braun. You do Braun. I can do Ryback.
I gotcha.
Man, being the big guy sure is tiring. Who is it?
Candy Graham.
The big guy didn't order a Candy Graham. He only eats protein powder.
Loan Shark.
There's no such. I don't owe any money to no Loan Shark.
Protein pizza.
Oh, great. Protein pizza. Just what the big guy needs. Bring it in here.
Braun! Oh, we ain't topping this, folks. I think we're going to end it there. This is how I got over with a stand-up bass. Losers! Let's do losers. Yeah, I'm gonna hit mute and laugh my ass off. Shin, kick us off.
Oh my goodness! All right. Oh, my loser is obvious this week for a subject that we didn't even bring up this week. WWE brought back Eva Ring.
I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to bring anything of that nature up.
You mean to tell me, WWE, that you let go one of the most respected and skilled women's wrestlers in the history of the business? You let her go, only to bring back one of the worst wrestlers in one of the worst female wrestlers of all time. That's like That's like trading out Prime Andre the Giant for the Giant Gonzalez.
That's a fuck up. And
yeah,
you know what? I'll add my 2 cents on this because yeah, you damn right I'm gonna have to rant on that.
Yeah, and what else? That was my D-Cell battery award anyway.
The D-Cell, and then you got some losers on top of that, of course.
Like he said, losers, everyone who complained about Jericho's bump, like, let's see you take a bump like that and make it look good. I don't see any of you falling back first onto a pile of cardboard. And if anybody's ever fallen on cardboard, that is not the softest substance to do a bump on. That shit still hurts. It's still hard as fuck. So give them something. So quit complaining, dumb motherfuckers. NXT for doing something that I didn't think was possible. I actually fell asleep during NXT.
I am so glad I stopped after that Ted DiBiase bit.
Yeah, I fell asleep before that bit. I woke up just in time for that bit. That was the only saving grace. And speaking of NXT, my final loser this week, Kyle O'Reilly. Who dresses you? Like, you look like a hipster douche. Like you're trying. I know they're trying to make you into Orange Cassidy, but you just lack everything that makes Orange Cassidy cool. They sucked out all of the It's like if you took Orange Cassidy, sucked all of his coolness, his awesomeness, and his just I don't give a fuck, and you put it on the plate to serve it on the TV. It would be Kyle O'Reilly dressed like a hipster fucking douche. Like I don't take him seriously as a serious contender for Captain Crunchy Kumbanan's world title. I don't. I just don't.
JC says maybe Seth Rollins dresses Kyle O'Reilly.
That would make so much goddamn sense. I mean, he would be. He's been caught dressing the Young Bucks last week.
Well, if his Twitter game is anything like his dress sense, then that makes all the sense in the world.
I know, right?
Those are my losers.
God, D-Dub.
My only loser this week is Jackson Riker.
Ooh, okay. Explain to the class.
He said his favorite wrestler is Hulk Hogan.
That
is not surprising.
I'm like, of course it is. Jackson. Of fucking course it is.
It's Jackson Riker. Yeah, you know what? This is the same fucker that's spewing out that anti-vaxxer bullshit and that you people tweets. Yeah, that makes all of the sense in the world now. It does.
Just get out. Get out.
And he's the one with the contract still. Make sense of that shit.
Yeah, the Forgotten Sons that were actually good, they fired, but the one that nobody seems to like, they're just keeping him around. Just God fuck.
My doing?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of firing the good people and bringing in the bad, yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep WWE on the side for a second because obviously you know why I'm going to rant on that for a second. But I got to give a loser to two particular entities. AEW, and don't worry, they're going to be on the winners list as well. But AEW on the handling of the refund things, not particularly the best day a week for them as far as just the behind the scenes stuff and all that stuff. They could have looked a little better, let's be fair. So I got to give them a loser just for the handling of the blood and guts stuff. The angles did not handle that. That's too... I'm not going to say botched big endings, but that's two endings that were kerfuffled for whatever reason. A lot of production stuff that kind of tripped them over. And the YouTube bots, because they fucked up Botchamania. At first, everyone thought AEW was the original purpose of the loser for AEW was because they outright banned Botchamania. Turns out it was the bots doing their thing, and AEW worked with Matthew to get Botchamania back up again. So AEW is off the hook for that. Like, especially Aubrey Edwards, who worked with YouTube to say, hey, he's cool. He's cool.
Good on him for that. Yeah.
So, and that's the short version. There's a bit of a longer version in hanging around in the internet that explains the situation a little better than I could. But the long and short is the bots fucked up Botchamania because, well, the bots sensed a disturbance in the force, and you know, Mafu is a prime target for them bots on YouTube. But the real reason for my ire is WWE. You guys brought up Jackson Riker being the one with the contract and everybody else being fucked off. Mickie James, the Iconics, gone. You bring in Ava Marie. I don't give a shit if she's improved in the ring or not. That's irrelevant. The reputation that Eva Marie brings is not a good one. Right now, and you could say, oh, but Mike Shell said, and for those wondering, there was a long time ago where we had a person, and I lost a quote bet, and was forced to declare Eva Marie the greatest wrestler of all time, which we all know is bullshit. But Mike, if you're listening, that was an old gag from a person I do not want to associate myself with ever again. Therefore, the joke is dropped. Period. That's it. And that goes to you guys too.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me.
That bet is therefore null and goddamn void in the book. If you guys are long-term fans, you know who it is. I'm not bringing him up. He wants to do his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. Simple as that.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been a long time, but it's been a while since Eva Marie was on TV or on WWE TV. She had done Celebrity Big Brother in the U.S. But yeah, Mickie James and the Iconics gone. Eva Marie back in. The reputation that she brings in is a stick with tits in the women's revolution. She's the stick with tits. I don't care if she's impressed. I don't care if she could do a Canadian goddamn destroyer now. It doesn't matter. This is a bad fucking look. Mickie James, surefire Hall of Famer. Billie Kay and Iconics, a tag team. Billie Kay and fuck. She changed her name and I'm confused now. Sorry? Peyton Royce, Billie Kay. Thank you. Two talented women in their own right, but together putting as a tag team, a great comedy tag team. A great tag team, period. Gone so that Lady Redhead, who can't run the goddamn ropes and can't wrestle for jack shit, can come back and be the Evolution. Fuck you. Seriously. Is it a wonder why I don't watch Raw anymore? And why I do not care to watch SmackDown anymore live? I can barely tune into NXT now. That's how poisoned the well is. This is the kind of shit that makes me go, well, I'm just going to watch MLW and NWA whenever I can afford it. Just straight up, fuck you. Just let's do winners.
Okay, winners. Of course, AEW for a very good night of wrestling on Wednesday night. We had a good four-way eliminator to determine who would be the number 2 seed that SCU is going to face off against the Bucks. We had a what is it? We saw MT Nakazawa getting his shit pushed in. A great promo from Miro, who still looks like a fucking psycho. And of course, Blood and Guts, which was probably the most War Games match we have had in decades. And hats off to, and despite those little hiccups that Matty mentioned earlier.
Hey, there were hiccups. They need to be acknowledged, but this was still a solid matchup.
It was a great matchup. Everyone came to play. Everyone wore wounds of war. A great ending that elevated MJF to a higher echelon of heel. And let's see who else. Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, and Ted DiBiase. We got to bring that man up too.
Of course, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Those are the highlights. The only reason I watch NXT anymore is for Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase. And
that's feud of the spring into summer right there.
Yep. And my final winner goes to none other than Powerhouse Hobbs. For what he and Stu Grayson did on Being the Elite this week.
That had me on the fucking floor.
Those of you who don't know, lately Stu Grayson's been seeing visions of Anna Jay. And him and Brian Cup have been going after and been seeing visions of her. And he saw a vision of what he assumed was Anna Jay. But turn around, it was Powerhouse Hobbs. And Howard Hobbs just pretty much snarled at him. He's like, "Oh, you're Powerhouse Hobbs, yeah." And Brian Cutler's like, "Stu, you should run." Like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna run." And next thing you see, Stu Grayson being chased after by a pissed off Powerhouse Hobbs.
Also, Powerhouse Hobbs on this week's edition of Sammy's Vlog, where Five, Fuego, and Griff Garrison were trying to audition for their boy band, and then this week's audition was Powerhouse Hobbs, who proceeded just to walk in, rob them, and just take a bunch of stuff from the bar, just so casually, like, mine. Hobbs, that's my one. That's my one. He just walks out. He even took a bottle of vodka and a lamp.
And just for good measure, he threw a shoe. I'm only kidding, of course. I'm adding to the comedy, but yeah.
Yeah, he took one shoe, just one.
Yeah. Who throws a
Powerhouse.
shoe? Honestly.
Oh, now I got the fucking hiccups.
Oh, no.
And this comes 1 week after Layla Hirsch tried to audition, and her audition was just suplexing Fuego onto a couch.
At least it was safe-ish.
Yeah, and of course the other members of the boy band were worried because Fuego almost hurt his ass, and he can't do that because his ass is the selling point to the group at this point. Also, I guess also another great moment where Fuego and Dustin taking turns whipping each other with a belt.
Oh my god.
I'm just going to leave that out there without context. Watch the vlog.
Pretty much. Winners T-Dub.
Sammy Guevara, just for being the MVP of that match. Jesus Christ, that guy suffered.
He did. He went the full distance of the match. Someone give him a goddamn bag of money as a bonus.
Hell yeah. And of course, Dave Bautista, because Guardians 3 seems to be his final role as Drax, because in his own words, he's getting fucking old.
Yeah. Hey,
and he was kind of old when he was starting with Guardians 1, but yeah, he's starting to get up there in age, and he knows when it's time to hold him and when it's time to fold him.
Hey, he got to be in Avengers 4, 3 Guardians movies. He's been in a Bond movie. I'm pretty sure he's pretty much good to retire now. Or at the very least retire from being a superhero at least.
What is this thing that I need to hold, and why would I fold it? I don't fold things.
Shin keeping in gimmick. Very nice. Very nice.
And Devil Pogo Stick brings up, yes, today is Kevin Steen's birthday.
It is. 37.
In a row.
Indeed.
Somebody play Unsettled Differences for him for his birthday.
Indeed, that's right.
The stuff I runs has been crossed the line.
Anyway, my winners this week, obviously Sammy Guevara, but AEW, yes, winners and losers. Number 1 on cable. First time ever, they're number 1 on cable. The thumb is up there. Blood and Guts, despite the hiccups, was an excellent match. And the rest of the show was pretty good. Pretty goddamn good, if you ask me. Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi, blowing up the wrestling internet in the wee hours in the morning. And it's apparently it's Kevin Kelly's. Kevin Kelly said it's the best match he's ever called. So again, high praise. Maybe overhyped, but the hype is real. The match is good. Roman Reigns' new theme song. Is good. Just very good. Fits him. And Shin, you said it on before we went on air. Now he's a final boss. And OSW review. They reviewed The Hobbit, and the next big episode they're doing, AEW Revolution, including the big barbed wire match thing.
Oh lordy!
Yeah, I am both excited, and this is your first AEW review for OSW, so I am both excited and scared and anticipatory at the same time.
I would also like to read this tweet from Nyla Rose Beast because she's a winner because every day she posts something great. This is from the 30th of April. It's Fun Fact Friday! Lance Hoy was the person responsible for inspiring Costco's now world-famous samples when he was unsure about buying a product he hadn't tasted. Lance held a manager upside down by the ankles and said, "Everybody try!" Yeah, she has bangers like that every single day.
I ain't topping
also
that.
a winner for this week on Lexi Nair's interview because she said there's a certain show she's been binging lately. A certain television show. I think she might be watching Totally Not Mark on YouTube because she recently binged Hunter x Hunter.
Good on her. Good on her.
Good. Did she?
And
Good
everyone
choice.
should do the same. If you have not watched Hunter x Hunter, fucking watch it. Goddamn watch it.
I think
it's
I
amazing.
watched up to the first season. I think when it was on Toonami at a reasonable hour. It's a
so
good
goddamn
show.
good.
It's a good
It is
show.
so goddamn good. It is god tier. It is up there with FMA Brotherhood.
No, I wouldn't.
And
No. Personally, I wouldn't put it over like that. But hey, you know what?
I would. It's by the same guy who did Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm not going to try to argue. I'm just going to say he's not. It's a good show. You should watch it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to overhype it.
And if you don't watch anime, watch some goddamn anime. Get some culture in your life, bitch.
Look, I'm not going to overhype Hunt Hunter, but you damn right I'm going to overhype that Sailor Moon Crystal Eternal thing that's coming to Netflix. I'm hype. Just going to say that. I am hype.
Yeah. And funny you should mention that, considering that Togashi's wife is the creator and mangaka of Sailor Moon.
Yeah. See how I put that shit together?
It all comes full circle.
I can do subtle! That
No,
note,
I've seen people
Shin
do
plug,
subtle.
let's go.
I've seen people do salty, and they're all cowards.
T-Dub, my bit was the closer. Let's go home. Shin,
All
let's
right,
plug.
Time to plug it in, plug it out, and plug away. Plugging away
Goddamn
my
right.
Time plugging away my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Shintigercurl. Go there for all of your favorite Warhammer Horde lore, news, bits and pieces. Also, I might start reading some fan fiction again. Not sure, possibly. Might start streaming again if I can find out what's been freezing my computer up for so goddamn long. So, and if I ever start streaming again, I will be streaming some Gloomhaven. Yes, the #1 ranked board game in the world has a digital version. Not complete, still in the beta, but it's still a fun-ass time. You can also hit up my Patreon at patreon.com/Shintigercurl. Hit me up on PayPal. It's in a profile. And also, my book, New World. We've been plugging it away for years. It's still up there. Cop that shit. $7.99. Get it. Read it. Love it. Review it. Thank you. I'm talking to you, Crimson Rogue. Get off the book world and review my book. It's been 3 years. Please.
Stop reading the bad books and read a good one.
What T-Dub said.
Speaking of T-Dub saying things,
subscribe to my YouTube channel. All of Season 1 is currently up there for you to enjoy, while I currently work on Season 2 of my YouTube review series. But if you want to see any videos early, patreon.com/TWKReviews. That's patreon.com/TWKReviews. But also be sure to subscribe to the channel so you'll know exactly when everything goes live for the public before anyone else.
and you already plugged your patreon.com, so I don't need to do it. So thank you very much for that. Of course, his Patreon, patreon.com/TWKReviews. My tip jar, paypal.me/MattyJ316. Donations are optional, but always appreciated. You can follow us on Twitter at MattyJ316, at TWKOfficial, at Shintigercurl. I am on TikTok at MattyJWC. And if you want to send them questions for the next Q&A, probably in about a month or so, the Wrestle-Cast@gmail.com. We will read them while we wait for others to enter their questions. No question is a stupid one, unless it's really a dumb fucking one. So don't worry about it too much. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. We thank you very much for tuning in and saying hi to us for a little while. On behalf of everybody, including Shintigercurl,
K. Khaki Dory.
dude, call him correctly. NXT champion Keitaka Dori.
No, that was JW. That was W Morrissey, man. He was saying Keitaka Dori.
According to Cake.
Translation: note, Cake is a plan. Anyway, and of course TWK.
Fear the Jackoff.
Fuck. My name's Matty J. Reminding you to help professional wrestling support your independent promotion as soon as possible. Have a good one. Have a safe one. We'll talk to you next week. Bye. Everybody. Bye.
Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.